Okay.
Could you state your name, please?
Lance Koury.
And Lance, what do you do in your free time?
In my free time?
Yeah, what do you do in your free time?
All right, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Well, what I do when I'm not working, which is
Yeah.
a little bit of free time that I have. A few years ago, I always loved music, never
Okay.
did anything with music. So I have 3 guitars.
Oh, nice.
And I started taking lessons a few years ago, which now I'm not taking them because the teacher went to work full time.
Okay.
I like to sit and play guitar.
Nice.
Love politics. I love to be in discussions about politics and watching what's going on in the political arena.
Yeah.
My wife and I are kind of I don't know if I'd call us news junkies, but we're pretty close.
Yeah.
So we pay attention to what's going on.
That's good.
I used to be involved in many activities. Now I'm down to just a few, maybe church-related things because it took so much time.
Yeah.
But, whatever free time we have, we may travel to see my son and the grandchildren in
Where are they?
Alabama,
Oh, wow. Okay.
south of Birmingham. My daughter lives closer in Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
She works in Morgantown.
Yeah.
So we'll visit the kids and just do things for ourselves really in free time. Reading, lots of reading, lots of political discussions.
Yeah.
Playing the guitar. We like to do some local travel mostly.
Okay.
When we get retired, we're going to do a little bit more expensive travel. But
Good.
that's pretty much it for now.
Yeah.
That's what we enjoy to do.
And where are you from?
Originally from New Jersey.
Okay. What
Northern
part?
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Town of Rockaway. It's in Morris County.
Okay.
North Central West Virginia, about 35 miles from New York City.
Okay.
And I went to Wesleyan.
Okay.
That's how, because the next question is, how'd you get to Buckhannon?
Right.
Graduated from West Virginia Wesleyan College in 1977.
Okay.
Yeah, and I met my wife here in town. She's a couple of years older. She probably won't like me saying that, but it's out there now. And, we went back up north for about 3 years after college, and then we came back to Buckhannon. So we've been here for our second go-around since 1981.
Okay. And so what is your profession, Lance?
I'm a certified financial planner.
Okay.
Do financial planning, investments, those types of things.
And you've been doing this since the 80s, or?
July will be my 26th year.
Wow. Okay. So how did you then get involved with Rotary?
Prior to working in the investment business, I worked in the banking business.
Okay.
And back in the early 80s, I think it was the bank president that was at the First Community Bank, if I'm not mistaken, suggested Rotary, going with him to Rotary. And I did. And subsequent to a visit or two to Rotary, was sponsored and inducted. And I don't know the exact time frame. I'm thinking 83, 84 time frame, something like that.
So you mentioned in a previous conversation that you also were in the Clarksburg Rotary.
Yeah, I was here in Buckhannon through the end of 87 in the club. And then I started to work with another person in the advertising business who was located in Bridgeport. And he was heavily into Rotary. His name was Ron Hill.
Okay.
And Ron took me to the club in downtown Clarksburg. And at that point, what it was really just a membership transfer.
Okay.
You would go through the whole sequence because I was already in Rotary, but in Buckhannon. So what he said was, what we'll do is we'll do a transfer to the Rotary Club in Clarksburg.
Okay.
So I did that. And I was in the club through 1990.
Yeah.
And then when I was no longer working in that business, and I was starting to work on my licensing for the investment business. Which took some time. I was out of Rotary, and then I got into this business. I was out of Rotary from probably 1990 to 94, 3 or 4 years, and then I came back to Buckhannon to work, and I was sponsored back in the club. I think J.C. Rafferty sponsored me to come back in the club in 1993 or 94. And I was in until, I don't know, it's 3 or 4 years ago because of work and the amount of time I needed to spend on work, I resigned from the club.
Yeah. So you were working in Clarksburg, but you still lived in Buckhannon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would commute.
Yeah, yeah. And then you said that you sponsored a few people, yes?
Yeah, over the years, I can't remember them all. I was on the Board of Education for 8 years.
Okay.
So each time we got a new superintendent,
Yeah.
I can think of at least two, Dr. Chandler and Scott Lampman. I had sponsored those folks because I felt that certainly the leader of public education in the area needed to be in the Rotary Club. And so those were at least two, but there were others, and I'd have to sit and think about it for a while to remember who.
No, it's fine. So you said you joined in the 80s and then you came back in the 90s. And so back in the 80s, they didn't accept women in Rotary.
Right.
And so, you coming back in the 90s, how was your experience with that transition? What were your thoughts on that? You can be honest.
Well, the women came in. Well, I think initially the time that I was in, we used to meet downtown.
Yeah.
Which would be,
CJ
I
Maggie's.
guess, up above CJ Maggie's.
Right, yeah.
Way up on the top floor, and I guess you've already heard about all of that. And there was a kitchen there, and Peaches Cutright was the cook. And
Yeah.
It's kind of a family style thing. It was pretty neat.
Right.
But women came in the mid 80s. Even through that time when I was here in the club and then went to Clarksburg, because in the Clarksburg club there were women already in leadership roles up there. So I was in the club and involved during that time. In terms of I guess the question is what I think about what.
Right. Were you in favor of it?
Oh, I was not opposed to it at all.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not in the camp that was so entrenched in the gender thing. I'm totally, maybe I shouldn't say indifferent, but I guess I am. I'm indifferent to those issues.
All right.
It's just not my thing.
No, that works, yeah. So this is your opportunity to tell me about some of your earliest or some of your favorite memories with Rotary. You can tell me about, your time in Buckhannon or in Clarksburg.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I liked about Rotary was, you talk about a service organization.
Yeah.
It's a well-organized, worldwide organization.
Right.
And so when you become involved, you're plugging yourself into something that's not a fledgling organization that's sprung up locally. And, you're constantly trying to get people involved, and you've got this idea and you're trying to keep it going. I mean, you're just plugging yourself into something that is renowned and has been there for a long, long time. And that was nice because there's a prescribed method by which you get in, you stay in, you do things. The service component, I'm a big believer that everyone needs to provide some type of service or be involved in a service organization at some point in their lives. And so that's what I did. I was involved in a lot of different service-oriented types of activities. So Rotary was very good in that regard. And you had your essentially your Rotary calendar, things that you did. All the different clubs have their own activities. Of course, you've probably heard an awful lot about blood screening, which was started in the mid-'80s. And I'm not sure if it started at the senior center to begin with and then went to St. Joseph's Hospital. We used to do it up at the hospital. And very tight, very crowded, but it worked well.
Absolutely.
Tremendous fundraiser.
Yeah.
But over the years we did a lot of other things. And I know you've heard about a lot of these things in the meantime, but the floral project and the downtown beautification started, I guess, essentially with Dr. Bob Breen in the college. We did a small area down by the Gibson Library in town. That's where this thing got, that was the nexus. Then it grew into a bigger program. We did adopt a highway for a few
I didn't know
years.
that.
Yeah. And a lot of other projects, building, working down at Jawbone Park and over in North Buckhannon at the park. Lots and lots of community activities projects. And Rotary was really at the forefront
Mm-hmm.
of a lot of that. And in fact, in things that happened in the city, Rotary was the organization that created the impetus for a lot of these things. The floral project and developing down at Jawbone. It was an organization that was a great springboard for a lot of these things.
Yeah. So you were telling me about the beautification of downtown. Is that, more than the floral aspect, or?
Well, like I say, we did the litter program, and
I didn't know
I'm
about
probably going to leave a number of things out, but there was, we built a gazebo down in Jawbone initially. Worked with the other parks, the floral program. I can't remember everything, but like I say, that was kind of a forerunner of organizations getting involved in helping the city create that liftoff. Because there was a Main Street project that was done in the 80s, also to get back to the period lighting, widen the sidewalks, and all, which was a separate group of people. There were obviously Rotarians involved in it.
Okay.
But I think all that worked together to give that lift off. Because there really, quite frankly, there probably wouldn't have been a lot going on if it was just left to the initiative of city government or whatever. I just don't think it would happen.
Yeah. So, what do you remember about the litter program? I actually haven't heard anything about that.
We had a commitment for maybe, I don't know if it was a year or 2 years, but we had a stretch of the highway out on Quarter H that we would do. I don't know if it was a mile or 2 miles. The on and off ramps and out on the median of the highway. I think Burl Smith might have been